Hello and welcome to Soul in Balance. My name's Alicia and I'll be bringing you a report on the full moon in Pisces that'll be happening on the 26th of August at 9:56 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So we're all coming to an emotional completion, a healing completion. So what we've learned over the last few months, and especially the last 3 eclipses from the eclipse season, will all be coming to completion and ready to be released at this time. So stay tuned and I'll bring you the report. Okay, full moon in Pisces. What does it all mean? All right, so Pisces is our psychic connections, it's healing, it's emotions, it's our intuition, it's our connection to the spirit realms. So at this time, we need to be releasing some of the emotions that have come up throughout our healing these last couple of months. So these last couple of months with the Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, and the eclipses, we've all had a lot of realization. We've all had to come more into our heart space and love ourselves and be more empowered. So what we're needing to do is look at the polarity point of Virgo, where the sun is the wheat maiden. So Virgo is analyzing our emotions, categorizing our emotions, using discernment and realizing what needs to go, and also how we can be of service, what we've learned and the healing that we've learned. How can we be of service to others? How can we help motivate others or offer healing or be some kind of compassion for other people or help lead the way, you know, be a light bearer, you know, show the way of what way to go. So at this time, we're needing to, yes, go to the polarity point of Virgo and then release what emotions that have been coming up. And it's been a really tough time for everyone. And I say this every video, just like every other astrologer or energy healer. It's been a really tough time, and with the North Node in Leo and all the eclipses that have been there, we're all being kind of called to come into our empowerment, come into our heart space, come into our own self-love and creativity. And that does affect our relationships, especially if the relationships we've been in have been in an unbalanced power dynamic. So if you're coming more into your heart space and loving yourself and valuing yourself, you being that person or being in that place, especially with people that, you know, like to have control or have control issues, this causes tension in situations in relationships that could bring up issues, whether it be with family, whether it be at work, whether it be in romantic relationships. The relationship dynamics are changing. We're having to reevaluate where we stand in relationships and be in our power from a wholesome place, not in a place obviously where it's just dominate, control, and you know, not being in our heart space. This is calling us to be in our place of value, valuing ourselves and how we are in relationships, valuing ourselves. And it's going to cause a lot of triggers and issues if we're not being in that place right now. And even if we are being in that place right now, it's causing triggers and issues in relationships. So it is a really tough time. It could be within family, how you're not being respected in family and you're having to put up a boundary and just be like, no, I'm not accepting that anymore. I'm not the scapegoat of this family anymore. I'm not below anyone and I need to be treated equally. It could be the same dynamic at work where you're not being valued for the work that you do, or you're not being appreciated, or you're not being recognized, or you're being treated indifferently, or work tensions as well, where who's better than this person and who has more control over this person. And that is also applies to relationships too. It could be, you know, like maybe one partner feels that they need to control the relationship more from an insecure place, not being in a place of love. So if you're then showing up in your power and saying, no, I'm not accepting being treated like this anymore, you know, that's also going to create lots of issues within relationships. And hey, across the board, we might have to just be like, no, we can't be in this relationship, or I can't have this friendship, or I can't, you know, be a part of these dynamics anymore. You might have to just release this completely, as Pisces represents the end. It represents death. So it is the ending of these dynamics. It could be the ending of these relationships where you move into new communities, new relationships, new jobs, new places where you are of value, because you need to be showing up for yourself in a place of value and moving forward as a collective, because when you value yourself, then other people value themselves too. So the best thing to do is to find out where this falls in your birth chart, so what house, and that will tell you what area of life you're going to be triggered in most. So at this full moon in Pisces, we also have a lot of astrological aspects going on, and one of the major aspects at this full moon is the grand Earth trine that'll be happening with Uranus in Taurus, Saturn in Capricorn, and the Sun in Virgo, all in early degrees. And this also goes off to this new moon as a kite. So what this all means is the grand Earth trine is giving us the stability we need for the healing that is coming up, for the changes that we are making, for, you know, what we're letting go of. So if we look at it in the sense of we're healing, lots of emotions are coming up, it's Pisces, we're letting go, this grand Earth trine is just giving that stability and ease and nurturing and support, so we can actually do and go through this process. And with the kite there as well, it's kind of causing, like, I would say, like an arrow effect, where you pull back the arrow and you just let it go and it fires off, and then you go in a direction moving forward. So sometimes when we look at grand Earth trines or any kind of trine, grand trine, it can be too much ease, where you're not really doing the work to move forward, where this kite going out to this full moon is kind of giving it a backbone and giving it some tension, so you can, like, you know, catapult forward or have to do that work. Because if you don't do that work that's coming up right now, if you just think, I'll deal with it another day, I just don't have time, I'm not in the right place, it's just going to come back twice as bad. Like, the universe doesn't really give it to you any easier as it goes along. So this is a very harmonizing and stable time to deal with some of the stuff that you've got going on, and especially with the planets moving forward. So we've got Mars going direct on the 27th of August, and then we've got Saturn also going direct in September. So that means we're going to be able to start moving forward. So if you can go through the process of releasing, you know, what emotions and what revelations and what situations that have come up for you these last few months, you'll be able to just move forward in the direction that you want to go, because Saturn's going forward. Saturn is our structures, Saturn's our reality, Saturn is building upwards. So if we look at it from that point, and then also from Mars, Mars is our desires, Mars is our drive forward. So if we can just let go of some of the, you know, the issues that we've had going on, you know, like, you know, dynamics that have been playing out, if we can tie up those loose ends, categorize everything like what Virgo does, use discernment and do the work, we're going to be in such a great place moving forward in the next couple of weeks. So if you're doing the work, good on you, and keep going. So at this time, we've also got the aspect of Neptune retrograde trining out to Jupiter in Scorpio, and then in conjunct Mercury in Leo. So to me, and my interpretation of that is, it's a highly intuitive time, highly psychic time, and especially with communication, which is Mercury involved, it's going to be a very healing and connecting time. time. So people that you love and have connections with, you're not crazy when you think you can feel them, or you know, you can even think what they're thinking, because it is very, very, very possible at this time. It is a very healing aspect. It is to know that we have those connections with other people, and we all have these abilities. It's just whether you choose to see them or use them or not. It's like, what do they say? It's like a muscle that you don't use. You know, it's not very strong, but once you use it all the time, you know what I mean? So yeah, get in contact and connect with your intuition. It is a really great time, and any kind of answers or information you need will easily come to you at this time. What you need to do to move forward, what you need to do to help yourself, what you need to do to heal is all very, you know, connected to us right now. It could even be connections with people from, you know, in the spirit world or the universe or whatever you like to relate that higher power to. Those connections are so strong right now. Even connections to, you know, people that you don't really talk to, or people that, you know, that are far away, or whatever the situation is. A very, very connecting time right now, and it's a time to use this for healing. It is a time for releasing sexual situations, whether it be sexual abuse, whether it be sexual orientation and what gender and, you know, you identify with, or whether you're non-binary, you know, whether it's got to do with, you know, dynamics within relationships, anything like that that's playing out. And Mercury is in Leo with where the North Node is, which is our heart space. So it's all bringing us back to our heart, and, you know, putting us in a place where we can communicate our values, communicate, you know, our creativity and what we need to be self-loving for ourselves. So this aspect is very, very helpful when it comes to the healing that's going on right now. So use your intuition for, you know, what's coming up for you. Okay, so moving forward, we have Mars on the 27th of August moving forward, and Saturn in Capricorn moving forward on the 6th of September. And I'm sure we're all ready to get going. We've dealt with so much stuff that's come up. We've had all these blocks put in our way, so many restrictions, and just everything has come to a complete halt. But that is all about to end very soon. So within the next 2 weeks, there's going to be a lot of motion moving forward, and the best thing to do is to reflect over what has happened in this period of time. So what have you learnt? What needed to change? And how can you apply that moving forward now? So, you know, that's our desires, which is Mars, the masculine. You know, what has the masculine learnt during this time of reflection, of everything coming to a halt, of going internally and figuring out who you are and what's working and what's not, what people have been mirroring to you of what you need to change. So as you move forward, imply what you've learned. Use that for yourself, because what you've learned is going to be the best way for you moving forward. It's not because the universe has something against you and, you know, life's just tough right now, which it is, but it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because you're a bad person. You know, it's not because people are just giving you a hard time. That was stuff that needed to be healed and learnt so you can move forward and be happier. And with Saturn there moving forward as well, that means we're going to start building structures, you know, start being more of an authority in our lives and what we need to do moving forward. And the best thing to do, I believe personally, moving forward, is to be in our responsibility, show up as ourselves and own what we do and who we are. Because when we are in a place of empowerment and owning, you know, how we're presenting ourselves in the world, then we're not victims. We're moving forward in a place of the heart. We're moving forward in confidence. And that's what we need to be doing at this time. And just before all these planets start to move forward, it's a good time to re-go over what you've learned. double check how you want to move forward, because it's very, very important at this time, and especially with this full moon and the kite, everything is working together so you move forward in the best possible way. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Like, really put in the effort to move forward, as it's going to be fantastic for your health, and especially while the sun's in Virgo, which is all about health. So we can't forget Miss Venus. So Venus, the love goddess, is in her home sign of Libra, and she is going through a death and transformation process as we speak. So she is making aspects out to Pluto. Pluto is death and rebirth, transformation, and she's also making a small or in conjunction out to Neptune, which is healing, bringing about healing from the transformation and the death process that she is slowly going through, as she is about to go retrograde. When is it? I think it's October, early October. So for Venus and for the feminine and for our love nature, our creativity, money even, it's going to be a process of transformation and going internally. So what I see this all meaning, as we've kind of had, you know, the masculine and the Mars going internally, going retrograde, you know, releasing some old patterning that doesn't serve anymore. Venus will also be doing that. So it'd be releasing passions that don't serve, releasing old creativity that just has gone past its use by date, or maybe not even using your creativity. Maybe it's a time where you rediscover your creativity, you know, rediscover your inner child and what you used to love when you were younger and growing up, what you were interested in. You know, maybe it's painting and you used to love painting, or maybe you do love painting and you're not doing anything about it. So going internally, Venus is going internally and finding her heart, finding her creativity, finding her strength. And it's going to be, when she does go retrograde, it's going to be in Scorpio. So it's going to be about intimate connections. So how Venus and how we're showing up in love in our intimate connections. But I'll go through the Venus retrograde later, because it doesn't really apply right now, but it kind of does when she is making aspects out to Pluto. So with Capricorn being structure and a breakdown of structure, and then Venus is in Libra, which is relationships and how we relate to the other. We're breaking down old structures, and this also correlates to this full moon in Pisces and what's going on here, the theme of healing, the theme of letting go. So we're letting go the old structures that we've been using in relationships and showing up in our heart space, valuing who we are, valuing ourselves, love. So we're breaking down these old dynamics that we used to use in relationships and applying a new way of relating to people. And it's so important right now. It's not just about intimate relationships. It's about relationships with our family, relationships with our friends, relationships with our co-workers, and how we show up in society. It is so important to be in your own empowerment, your own self-value, your own self-love, and get rid of toxic situations, whether it be people, whether it be circumstances, whether it's old structures that you've had or old thinking patterns. They all need to go. We all need to be showing up in our heart space and then relating to people from that place. So at this time, it is a lot of relationship stuff coming up right now. So make sure you're looking at these dynamics in your relationships. Are you showing up of value? Are you ready to release the old way that you've learned how to relate to people? It could be you learned how to be in relationships from watching your parents or watching your friends, but you might find that that doesn't serve you. It probably doesn't serve anyone. There's so much dysfunction in relating and relationships on this planet. So at this time, there is going to be a massive death and rebirth process with relating to the other. Okay, so this full moon in Pisces really is like a wrap up of the eclipses that we've had the last few months, and it really is calling us to look at what we've learned. And it's not very hard to see what needs to change and what's come up for us over the last few months, and it's a great time to release and heal those things. So if we look at it from the perspective of, you know, what needs to change so I can move forward, what have I learned so I can move forward, and then be in a place of value for yourself, how you're showing up in relationships across the board. So that's work, family, friendships, intimate relationships, and how you'd like to move forward with that aspect going on in your life. It is going to be a highly emotional time. You know, if you're feeling really sensitive, and you know, visions are coming up, dreams are coming up, you know, pay attention to those. They do matter, and it is all about healing, and those are coming up for a reason. So, you know, stay in tune with what's going on and really make an effort to release what's coming up. Like, release what you have in a way healed. So, you know, don't sit there and think, oh my God, I'm just going to release something that I haven't really processed. What you've processed and what you've healed and learnt over the last couple of months, this is a time for releasing. And it's a very great time to be connected to, you know, Mother Earth, going outside, especially water, you know, whether it's having a bath, going to the ocean, or doing some kind of water ritual at this time to help connect to your emotions, or, you know, listen to beautiful music. There's so much fantastic music out there that helps you connect to your emotions, that makes this whole process a lot easier. So everyone who is doing the work, like, really congratulations. Like, it is a really tough time, and it is so hard to be on this planet right now. And if you're showing up, doing the work, you know, trying to educate yourself and just doing the best you can from a place of love, good on you. You are the people that are helping this planet evolve. So yeah, don't stop what you're doing at all. So that'll be it for me for this full moon in Pisces video. So if this video resonated with you, please subscribe to my channel, or if you think that this could help someone, please share it. All in all, thank you so much, and have a fantastic full moon in Pisces.